Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the intro episode of Ab Aage Kya, the podcast where we try to understand the answer of the most dreaded / inspiring question, which is what next? Yeah, Ab Aage Kya. With me, I have Ujjwal. Say hi, Ujjwal.
Hey guys.
And I'm Ishan. And we are both currently working as software engineers. Now, before we start talking about the show's flow and format, I guess we should talk about why we are doing this. So, Ujjwal, mere bhai, can you tell us why and what's the point?
Thanks Ishan for nailing this in like the 10th try. But coming to the question why, I guess this question remains a constant through every human's life. Be it an internal question or a question anybody's neighborhood auntie asks them. Best example is Dhoni retired recently. And like within an hour of him retiring, people started asking, what will Dhoni do next? Is he going to become a coach? Is he going to become a commentator? What is he going to do next? So I think that no matter who you are or what you have achieved in life, people always have this question that Ab Aage Kya? And it's not just something people ask. It's a question that you constantly ask yourself as well. So,
Arey bhai, Dhoni thoda bada aadmi ho gaya. Let's talk about ourselves. So, Ujjwal, when do you think you first asked this question to yourself?
So I think that the first time we have to go quite a while back, I guess. In school, I guess, in the early years, our parents used to answer this question for us. But
True, yeah.
First time, I think that we had to make a choice which would affect our life and career would have been probably 10th grade, where we had to choose between commerce and science. And I didn't have arts, but I guess I'm sure other people had arts.
Yeah.
So in that, we had to choose between commerce and science, and in science also there was obviously the medical side and the non-medical side. So that was the first time where that choice that you make was extremely important. And after that in life, like it's just been there always, right? That afterwards in 12th also you ask yourself this, and as you are progressing through college also you keep asking yourself this. So I guess it's a question that never really goes away.
I want to know more about this 10th question because I'm very fascinated about the fact that both your parents are doctors, but both your brothers ended up being engineers. Now, I don't say that everyone who's a doctor should have a doctor kid, but that's how we go in India. So how did that happen?
It was just that like my parents were good doctors, but I never...
Okay, they were good doctors. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, but I was never really interested in medical. Like I had seen my parents work so hard and never really got an interest in that. And also it was the fact that you can never be a bad doctor, right? Like if there's a bad doctor, then a person may die. But
you shouldn't be a bad doctor. You can be, but you shouldn't be. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's what I think.
Yeah.
But you can always be like a bad engineer and branch out into the music or maybe like make a podcast or something. Yeah, so I guess that's why I chose engineering, because India is again like we have a culture of doing engineering and then pursuing our passion.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing also.
So I guess what you're saying is we were kind of delaying that Ab Aage Kya question for that.
Yeah. It was like do engineering while you figure out your passion.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I chose engineering.
But do you think that makes that question even more serious and critical now?
Yes, I think like we had all of these conversations in college, but anyway, it was like a conversation that you have in your hostel rooms, etc. It was never really taken very seriously. And once you're out of college, this question becomes even more critical now.
And I guess that's why we are making this podcast, aren't we? So that we can answer that question for ourselves and help a few others while we are at it.
Yeah, I guess that's enough about my childhood experiences, Ishan. Would you like to tell the listeners about yourself?
Oh, yeah. My story is much more interesting than yours. Sorry, Ujjwal.
Screw you, okay.
So, yeah, basically similar template, I guess. 70% of us engineers have the same template. But the difference for me was my parents were in a transferable job. So there was always that question every 2-3 years. Now what school, what curriculum, CBSE, ICSE, all that stuff. So that question was majorly taken care of by my parents. For me, the first question came exactly when yours did, 10th standard. But it was different for me because coming from a smaller state, there's always that question of going out to a bigger city to get that coaching. And in our time, it was a trend to get the coaching for IIT JEE. Yeah. So I went to Chandigarh at that point. So that was one of the major points in my life. And then, of course, the same college that we went to. But the most important thing that we learn from college is the value of experiences.
Correct. And of course, there are two ways to go about gaining experiences, right? One is you can try and experience a lot of things.
Yeah.
Basically try a bunch of things and see what works out and which one you like the most. The other way to go about this is learning from other people's experiences. And how do we do that? By talking to people who have gone down different paths, learning what they do and why they do it. And that's basically what we are going to be doing here.
Now we come to the format of each episode. In each of these episodes, we'll be focusing on one particular career path. The plan is to have one or more guests per episode and try and understand their story, struggles, and choices. What they do, how do they go about their day, what makes it interesting for them, and what gives them that sense of satisfaction. Because we feel that these are the things that are the least talked about, but are the most important in any choice that we make.
Exactly. So what we aren't trying to do is to create a how to get a job 101 kind of a thing. कि interview में क्या पूछते हैं, prepare कैसे करते हैं, etc. Of course, like all of these questions will still be answered, but at the end there is much more to a career choice than getting a job. There are loads of whys and hows before you even reach that stage. We hope that by listening to our conversations, a few more people will get a fair idea of the options available out there. Our main goal is to help people gain some perspective, and we hope that we are able to clear a few questions that you guys might have.
And with that, we come to the end of the intro episode. Thanks for listening, guys. In case you guys have any questions, ideas, want to be on the show, might want Pados Ka Bunty on the show, we don't know what you want. So tell us. Write to us at abagekya123@gmail.com because Ab Aage Kya was taken by some rando.
Hate that guy.
Also, if you want to reach out to us, you can DM us on Instagram at Ujjwal_M29 and Ishan_Vaidya. The first episode drops on the 3rd September. So do press that follow or subscribe button. See you next time only on Ab Aage Kya.